Hello and welcome to On This Day in Sports, the show where we pull back the calendar page and see what history was made. I'm Avery, and with me is Melody. And Melody, today we are looking at January 15th, a date that is surprisingly jam-packed with iconic moments.
That's right, Avery. When you think of big sports days, you don't usually think of mid-January, but this date has it all. Super Bowls, legendary meltdowns, and even a presidential intervention. Where should we start?
Let's go way back to 1942. The country is in the midst of World War II, and the future of Major League Baseball is in doubt. So on this day, President Franklin D. Roosevelt sends what becomes known as the Green Light Letter to MLB Commissioner Kennesaw Mountain Landis.
The Green Light Letter, right. FDR basically said it was in the country's best interest for the games to continue, believing it was a valuable source of morale for the American people working in the war effort. It's a huge reason baseball continued through the war.
Exactly. Now let's fast forward to 1978 and Super Bowl XII. The Dallas Cowboys took on the Denver Broncos. It was a classic matchup of an elite offense versus an elite defense.
Oh yeah, the Cowboys' doomsday defense against the Broncos' Orange Crush. Denver's quarterback, Craig Morton, had a terrible day, and the Cowboys' defense was just relentless, forcing 8 turnovers. Dallas won it easily, 27-10.
Sticking with legendary players, on this day in 1981, St. Louis Cardinals pitcher Bob Gibson was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame, one of the most intimidating and dominant pitchers of all time, an absolute no-brainer first ballot selection.
Absolutely. And speaking of dominance, let's talk about 1984, a huge day in tennis.
A very mixed day for tennis legends. First, John McEnroe beats Ivan Lendl to win the ATP Masters Grand Prix title, a massive win for McEnroe. But on the very same day, well, something even bigger happened.
Martina Navratilovan's incredible 54-match winning streak came to an end. 54 straight matches. She lost to Hanna Mendelikova in the final of a tournament in Oakland. It was a stunning upset at the time.
Can you even imagine the pressure of a streak like that? Every single time you step on the court? Unreal.
Let's jump to 1990, where we have a couple of wild coaching stories. First up, the legendary NBA coach Don Nelson coached his 1,000th game, leading the Golden State Warriors, a huge milestone.
1,000 games is incredible longevity. But the other coaching story from that day is even stranger. Over in the NHL, the Washington Capitals fired their head coach, Brian Murray, and immediately hired his brother, Terry Murray, to replace him.
No way, fired for his own brother. That has to make for some awkward family holidays.
You think that's awkward? Let's talk about January 15th, 1997. This might be one of the wildest single days on our list.
Okay, I'm ready. Where should we start?
With Dennis Rodman. The Chicago Bulls are playing the Minnesota Timberwolves. Rodman scrambles for a loose ball, falls out of bounds, and then kicks a courtside cameraman, Eugene Amos, right in the groin.
He kicked a cameraman? That is peak Dennis Rodman. He ended up getting suspended for 11 games and paid a massive settlement. But wait, there's more from that same day, right?
So much more. In the NFL, George Seifert, who had won 2 Super Bowls with the San Francisco 49ers, resigned as their head coach, ending a dynasty. And back in the NBA, Dallas Mavericks forward Sam Perkins tied the league record for 3-pointers in a half by hitting 8 of them in half.
Wow, a coaching legend steps down, a player ties a record, and Rodman does, well, what Rodman does. All on the same day. What a chaotic 24 hours in sports.
Let's end on a high note. 1 year later, on this day in 1998, a 15-year-old Australian swimmer named Ian Thorpe wins the 400-meter freestyle at the World Championships.
15. That made him the youngest male world swimming champion in history. The Torpedo was born, an incredible moment that launched one of the great swimming careers we've ever seen.
It really was. So from FDR keeping baseball alive to Super Bowl defenses, coaching family drama, and the chaos of 1997, January 15th really is a day worth remembering in sports history.
It sure is. Well, that's all the time we have for today. For Avery, I'm Melody, and thanks for listening to On This Day in Sports.